We're in.
Just like that. Well, they said that it was.
What's up, guys? Here we go.
Keller! Did you fire a shot? Jaquan, did you pull the trigger? Jaquan, anything you want to say to Deja's family?
I'm sorry. There.
Watch yourselves, please.
Fuck anything.
Yeah, we good.
It's like 15 seconds. It'll look like.
We balance it out? Holy sandwich. Forget anybody? Forget anyone?
I'm Detective Lieutenant Richard LeBrun, Commanding Officer of the Nassau County Police Department Public Information Office. This press conference has been scheduled to discuss the arrest of Jaquan Keller for the murder of 12-year-old DJ Joyner. Present today are the following: Nassau County Executive Edward P. Mangano, Deputy County Executive for Public Safety Chuck Rabondo, Acting Commissioner of Police Thomas Crumpter, representing the Office of the District Attorney, Assistant District Attorney Michael Walsh, the Mayor of the Village of Hempstead, Mr. Wayne Hall, Chief of Detectives Kevin Smith, Deputy Chief of Detectives Assistant Chief Neil DeLorgy, Officer Detective Captain John Azada, and its Chief Michael McGowan, Assistant Chief Joseph Sorrentino.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Good morning, and thank you for joining us here today as we announce the arrest for the murder of Deja Joyner. After an extensive investigation, 20-year-old Jaquan Keller of Hempstead was arrested in connection with the murder of a 12-year-old Deja Joyner, who was shot, as you all recall, tragically shot in her living room in Hempstead on October 16th. I want to recognize our Nassau County detectives under the direction of our Police Commissioner Tom Crumpter, Detective Captain John Azada. I want to make special mention of his efforts. He's the commanding officer of homicide. He joins us here today. He worked tirelessly with the Hempstead Police Department. We want to recognize Mayor Hall and the great work of the Hempstead Police Department as well as the district attorney. This arrest really was a community effort, if you will. Not only excellent police work, but the community came together and provided assistance that led to the arrest today, or yesterday, I should say, to the Hempstead community. Nassau County Crime Stoppers received over 40 calls with information that had the same intent, and that intent was to catch the killer. And that was completed yesterday with the arrest of the alleged killer, and justice will proceed from there. So I'd like to call up our police commissioner to fill you in on some of the details leading up to yesterday's arrest. But once again, we want to thank all those that came together, not only the excellent police work, but the community that utilized Crime Stoppers and provided important information that led to the arrest.
Thank you, County Executive McGowan. Today we're announcing the arrest of Jaquan Keller of 130 Mason Street in Hempstead, New York, excuse me, AKA Trap. He's a Bloods member of the Parkside Desert sect. This is a senseless murder of victim Deja Joyner of 204 Dartmouth, as the county executive stated on October 16th of last year at 4:50. The arrest was made by homicide investigators, detectives, and the Hempstead PD at Linden Avenue and Laurel Avenue in Hempstead. The defendant was arraigned earlier today on murder in the second degree, criminal use of a firearm in the first degree, and criminal possession of a weapon in the second degree. In this case, the motivation appears to be retaliation over a dispute several days earlier. Was a robbery of a hoverboard, and the defendant's brother was the victim in that case. This is the depraved individual that committed a heinous, cowardly act. And as the county executive stated, the residents of Hempstead cooperated with the Nassau County Police, and in one voice, we let this individual know and other members of that community know that this kind of conduct will not be tolerated in Hempstead or in Nassau County. I want to commend the village for their cooperation and support in this case, and Mayor Hall in particular putting forward $25,000 to enhance the $50,000 reward for $75,000 in a Crime Stoppers reward. We received 43 tips, 22 had value. Additionally, we received significant information during our canvasses from the community, and it is quite clear that the village residents came forward to assist us in this investigation. I also want to commend Detective Captain John Azada, who coordinated the investigation along with Chief McGowan in the village of Hempstead. Additionally, Detective Sergeant Skopek was the supervisor in charge of the homicide investigation. Detective Pescatelli did an outstanding job as the lead detective. Additionally, members of the electronic squad led by Detective Sergeant Devin Ross was instrumental, as well as Special Investigation Squad, members of the 1st Precinct Squad, as well as the 3rd Precinct Squad, Criminal Intelligence Rapid Response Team, as also the Bureau of Special Operations. As you can see, thousands of hours went into this investigation to have the successful conclusion leading to the arrest of Jaquan Keller. This should be a message to the members of the gangs in this county. These violent, heinous acts will not be tolerated, and we will continue to aggressively investigate these cases and arrest the offenders for any kind of conduct that is violent or any other criminal conduct. Additionally, we continue to investigate this case, and if anybody has any information, I encourage them to call the TIPS line at 1-800-244-TIPS. Thank you.
Mayor Hall?
Thank you. The murder of, of Deja Joyner was senseless, was senseless act of violence and a tragic blow to her family and to the village of Hempstead. The entire community feels her family's pain, sadness, and rage. As a community, we employ one another. If you see something, say something. Deja's death should not be in vain. And I want to congratulate the residents that you took our advice, you saw something, you said something about it. I want to thank Nassau County Police Department, the county exec, our police department, Hempstead, for the great job that they have done. And I was always confident that this person was not going to get away with this. So again, we thank you, and Deja's death is not in vain. Thanks.
Thank you. Chief McGowan?
I'm Michael McGowan, Chief of the Hempstead Village Police Department. I would certainly like to commend the Nassau County Homicide Squad under the command of Detective Captain Zada and Sergeant Skopek for their tireless efforts and for them bringing Hempstead PD detectives on board to assist with the investigation. I commend everybody. You know that the police department's mission is to protect the public and public safety, and when that doesn't happen, this is a message that we are relentless in our pursuit to bring people to justice. Thank you.
Thank you. LeBron? Lieutenant? Question? Any question?
Do we have any questions?
Commissioner, can you explain the robbery? Whose hoverboard was stolen and who allegedly did that?
I'm not going to get into the details who committed the theft. It was retaliation. In this case, it was the brother of the defendant was the victim. So the victim was Jaquan Keller was the victim in this particular case.
But was Mr. Keller allegedly targeting Deja or someone else in the house?
We're not going to get into that level of detail as far as exactly who he was targeting at that location.
Can you say that it was or was not Deja?
It wasn't Deja. Clearly, it wasn't Deja.
Someone in the home was being targeted?
Somebody in proximity to the home, yes.
Someone outside the home?
We're not going to get into the details.
Can you tell us what his gang affiliation had to do with the crime?
This was a retaliation in this particular case. He is a gang member. There are other involved parties that are also gang members. So it was retaliation where one gang started a set of events to unfold in the robbery, and this was retaliation for that attempted robbery.
So do you believe the opposing gang is the one who stole the home board?
Yes.
And what is the opposing gang?
It's the Crips High Point sect.
And he's with the Bloods.
He's with the Crips.
Oh.
They're both. I'm sorry, my mistake. They're both with the Bloods. One is the Parkside Bloods, one is the High Point Bloods. Sorry.
Could you speak to his criminal history? What is his background?
He does have prior arrests, that were adjudicated.
You said you got about 40 calls to Crime Stoppers, about half were played out, and this over the course of 3 months. What took so long for the public to finally get on board?
There was a steady flow of calls from the very beginning until just recently. There was, we were out there. We were constantly making the public aware of the Crime Stoppers reward. We actually used the Explorers, who did a lot of pamphlets in the community, and we also worked with various community leaders, and the mayor was an instrumental part of that. This was really a collaborative approach to the investigation that was coordinated by Detective Captain Azada, and they did a fabulous job. Everybody that was involved, literally thousands and thousands of hours went into the investigation.
Were any of those tips significant in solving the crime?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you anticipate more arrests? I mean, this investigation, what's happening?
We believe he's the sole person responsible for the shooting, and but the investigation is continuing.
This morning, the suspect was wearing a bulletproof vest when he was walked to court. It doesn't happen often. Can you talk about that?
We're just making sure that in this case, it's as we've all stated, this is a heinous act committed by a coward, and we want to make sure that he's brought to justice and there's not some retaliation for the shooting.
Can you talk about what exactly led you to Mr. Keller? Was it a tip, and then you sort of developed more information? Can you?
It was the investigation. It started with the tips and investigation that was garnered along that led us to the defendant.
Can you explain how the electronic squad played a role in it?
The electronic squad was instrumental in this particular case. Their collection of video, a significant amount of video in the neighborhood, provided collaboration.
Do you see Mr. Keller shooting on the video?
No.
So you didn't get the actual act?
No, we did not get Mr. Keller shooting.
But you got his vehicle fleeing?
I'm not going to get into any more details on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
What about
Just
the
getting
reward? Is
weird.
anyone going to be collecting any part of the reward?
That will continue to be evaluated. Like I said, we have 23 tips that were, and we do expect a portion of all the reward will be, given out.
Do you have any
Thank you very
concerns
much.
about retaliation in the community?
Good job, Paul.